Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can everybody hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you all can hear me. So first of all, I would like to say welcome to the second general lecture on education and research in industrial engineering. And today's lecture entitled Building Industry Partnership to Enhance Students' Learning. And I would like to thank uh, our speakers, Dr. Himlona Palikhe from the Northeastern University in Boston, USA. And she will share her experience in building industry campus partnership to improve students' learning experience. Also, I would like to thank the moderator for today's lecture, Dr. Lucy Susanti, who will lead the discussion session. And also, I would like to acknowledge the faculty and students of the Department of Industrial Engineering of Universitas Andalas who are joining the lecture this morning. And also thank to our partners. So I see some participants from our partner universities in Riau, Jakarta, and other universities in other parts of Indonesia. And I hope that this event will expand our perspective in IE education and research. I think that is all from me, and I will hand this over to the moderator, Bu Lucy Susanti. Time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ferry. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
You hear my voice clearly? Yes?
Yes, Bu Lucy, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. Okay, good morning, everyone. Everyone here, students, lecturers, or any participant from so many universities in Indonesia. Good morning and good evening, because it's already evening for Dr. Palikhe. Which like I am calling you, Palikhe or Dr. Palikhe or Dr. Himlona?
That's fine. Anything is fine. Dr. Palikhe is fine.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Palikhe. Thank you for having me as moderator in this lecture. My name is Lucy Susanti. You can call me Lucy, and I'm going to lead this lecture for the next couple hours. We are talking about the building industry partnership to enhance student learning. Okay, to begin, business and higher education have found common cause in recent decades in preparation of a highly skilled workforce to preserve the nation competitiveness and economic opportunity in response to rapid technological change and increasing global competition. So the only way to develop the curriculum and instruction models in the classes that deliver this care to the university students is we need to build collaborations between industry and university that leverage their combined knowledge of labor markets, skills, pedagogy, and so on, and of course for students competition. To challenge this, to challenge how to deliver this purpose, so we need to design our education and to give experience that makes sense for our students to face what we call the life realities before they go to working. So for that purpose, we invite Dr. Palikhe to share her experience how to bridge between what we give for students in university and what the industry wants from our students. Okay, so I should introduce Dr. Palikhe first. She is now as co-program director from Northeastern University and also she is associate teaching professor from the same university. In the past, she's also associate program director, and yeah, so many positions that she already achieved, like a graduate certificate director, assistant teaching professor, and so on. Okay, so we will give time for Dr. Palikhe to share her experience with us. Please listen carefully and get valuable information from Dr. Palikhe today. Please, Dr. Palikhe.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ferry and Dr. Lucy, as well as Universitas Andalus for giving me this opportunity to share my experience, what we have are doing at Northeastern. So today I'm going to talk about building industry partnership to enhance student learning. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the experiential learning aspect that we do or that we cover at Northeastern University. That's what we're going to discuss. That's what I'm going to discuss today. And specifically in experiential learning, I'm going to talk about project-based learning and cooperative education today. So before I go into the details, let me give you a brief overview about my educational and professional background. So I completed my bachelor's in engineering in electronics and communication engineering from Tribhuvan University in 2006 from Nepal, my home country. And then I completed my master's in industrial engineering from Texas Tech University in 2010, and my PhD in systems and engineering management, again from Texas Tech University in 2013 under my advisor, Dr. Mario Benavides. So by the way, I was one of the colleagues of your department chair, Dr. Ferry. We did we did work on our PhDs around the same time at Texas Tech University. So talking about my academic appointments, after that, I worked as a research associate in Texas Tech University under my advisor from January to August 2014. Then I got into Northeastern University as assistant teaching professor in September 2014. The first 2 years I was in one of the regional campus of Northeastern. I started at the Seattle campus in Washington. And after 2 years, I was transferred to the Boston campus of Northeastern. The main campus is in Boston of Northeastern University. I was also managing and advising students in the engineering management program during this time. So I started as associate program director at Northeastern from July 2018 till June 2020. Then I was promoted to associate teaching professor starting July 2019. And recently, actually this year, I started working as a co-program director for the Masters in Engineering Management program at Northeastern University. So this is my brief background, and I also want to give you a brief overview about Northeastern University. Some of you might have heard about Northeastern University. Northeastern University is one of the top 40 universities in the US. It's a tier 1 research and experiential learning university. So as I was talking about, experiential learning is a very important part of Northeastern University, a very important aspect. And because of that, Northeastern University is ranked #1 in cooperative education by the US News and World Report in 2021. So there are 9 colleges and schools at Northeastern University, and College of Engineering is one of the colleges among these 9 colleges and schools at Northeastern University. As you can see, we have a very huge group of students. We have over 35,000 students at Northeastern University, and there are hundreds of degrees that are offered from these 9 colleges and schools at Northeastern Universities, from starting from your bachelor's to master's to PhD. So in 2019, Northeastern University in total got about $179 million in research awards among all different colleges and schools at Northeastern. So as I mentioned earlier, Northeastern's main campus is in Boston, but it has a global campus network. One of the regional campus is in Charlotte, North Carolina, as you can see in this white space on the right hand side. So these are all different locations of Northeastern University. So one is in Charlotte, North Carolina, the other one is in London, England. Then another one opened up recently in Portland, Maine. San Francisco, California is another location, another regional campus of Northeastern. Seattle, Washington is another one. Silicon Valley, I'm sure you might have heard about that, in California, as well as Toronto and Vancouver in Canada. We are also starting our regional campuses in these locations. So it's a global campus network of Northeastern around different parts of US and other parts, different countries as well outside US. So as I mentioned earlier, experiential learning is a very big part of Northeastern University, and that's what I want to start with. I will briefly talk about what experiential learning is and how it is utilized in Northeastern University. So as you can see here, experiential learning is a cyclic process. This is the cycle. You can see this is what experiential learning is about. So first of all, if I define experiential learning, it's a cyclic process that capitalizes on the participants' experiences for acquisition of knowledge. First one is experiencing. So you you have experience so that you are experiencing in that case, in that scenario, right? After you are done with the experience, you reflect on the experience. So reflecting is the second phase here. You reflect on the experience, what you did during your experience. So that's what you reflect on in this second phase, reflecting. Then in the third phase, you think about what you learned from the experience and concluded from the experience. After that, finally, you can act on that. So as you had experience, you reflected on the experience and you learned from the experience. Now you can plan or you can try to implement what you learned from your experience. That is active experimentation. This is basically the framework of experiential learning, what Northeastern uses. So if I define it in another way, it's a process that involves setting goals. So even before experiencing, you can set goals. You can think, plan, right? So setting goals, thinking, planning, experimentation, reflection, observation, and review. That's the whole process of experiential learning. So I'm going to talk about a few examples of experiential learning. I'll start with one example of experiential learning, that is project-based learning. I'm sure some of you or most of you might have worked on projects in your courses, right? So that's one simple example of experiential learning. So I do teach engineering project management. And for that course, in that course, my students work on projects throughout the semester. So in the beginning of the semester, starting from the beginning of the semester, my students form teams to work on the project, to work on a semester project throughout the semester. So this team will work on a particular project throughout the semester. So the teams will come up with a problem they want to work on, and then they will work on that problem to solve that problem, how they can come up with a solution for that problem. That's what they will work on throughout the semester as a project. So during this whole process, during this whole course, in the project, the students will be submitting different parts of the report relating to the project, and I review these reports as they submit and I give feedback to the students. So the students come back when they submit the next report or next phase of the project. They will improve, they will make changes, and at the end of the semester, they will come up with the final report and give a final presentation for the project. So that's one simple example of project-based learning that I utilize in my project management class. Another thing I wanted to talk about, what if these projects were real-time industry projects, right? Even better, if students can work on real-time industry projects in the courses, that might be even a better option that we can utilize experiential learning. So this here, as you can see, I have listed few real-time industry projects that my students have worked on in my course, Engineering Project Management. So these were real-time industry projects that the students or the student teams worked on for a particular company or client. So I will talk about few of these projects here. As you can see, the first one here is search engine optimization, right? So uh, a team in my class worked on this project, which was basically optimizing the search engine for a particular company named IntelliBookkeeping. So IntelliBookkeeping it's a startup company. So all the companies that you see here in the list, most of them are startup companies. So these are IntelliBookkeeping was a startup company which has been here in Boston for a couple of years. So they are developing, they are trying to improve themselves, right? So it's a cloud-based bookkeeping and account keeping company. So for that company, the team here worked on optimizing their search engine. So even the CEO of the company was really involved in the project. The CEO of the company met with the student team either face to face or via phone call or things like that every week to see what the CEO wants from the project and if the project was going in the right direction or not. So the team, actually the student team, they learned new tools and software for this particular project. So they helped the company. In addition, they also developed themselves. They also developed their skills while they learned these new tools and techniques, which helped them later on, which I'll talk about in the next part. Okay. Other project another team did was a website redesign and social media campaign for a bakery named Ancient Bakers. So they redesigned the website for this company as well as they worked on the social network. They did a social network campaign for this bakery where they advertised this bakery using Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all these different social networks that is used or popular among students at Northeastern as well as or, in Boston area, because these companies, what we're talking about, all of these were in Boston, based on Boston. The third project, the third team worked on was a business to business mentorship project for a company named Huays A's. So in this case as well, the team worked closely with the CEO, meeting the CEO of the company every week, where they worked on brainstorming and creating ideas for this business to business mentorship project that the company and the CEOs working on are trying to craft for their own um, company. So that's what they did. It was more of a creating ideas kind of project for this particular example, for this particular project. The fourth project was creating a cargo loading optimization dashboard. So the team created a cargo load optimization dashboard for a cargo company named IMX Cargo. So they created Microsoft or dashboard in Microsoft Excel according to the needs of the company, where again the CEO of the company worked with the team to see if it was going in the right direction or not. So they did learn different tools required for the project throughout. And they did it over a summer term. So in summer, we have two summer terms, summer 1 and 2. So it's just about a 2 month program or 2 month semester where the students worked on these projects. It was a short term, but whatever they could cover, do in the short term, they did complete that in this project, all these 4 projects. The fifth one was automation in advertisement for a real estate firm. The name of the company was Places for Less. So this was another startup company, Places for Less, where the startup company actually advertised rental spaces in Boston and or surrounding area. So that's what they did in this project. They automated the advertisement of these rental spaces the company offered. So it was not only the Places for Less was not the company who was actually renting the stuff, rather they were advertising uh, rental locations, rental apartments for different companies. So this was a startup as well, where the CEO was trying to bring in all the different rental locations in Boston in one place, because Boston is a very difficult market to find rental apartments and so on. So this was one startup company where the team helped and worked with the CEO. The sixth project, as you can see, it was creating a Lego robotics manual for middle school students. This was done for a Northeastern College of Engineering professor. The professor actually used this for their first year engineering students, where the first year engineering students worked with middle school students. But the first year engineering students needed a training manual where these graduate students, the master's level students, worked on this training manual that could be used by the first year engineering students to work with the middle school students regarding to Lego robotics. So they did actually also worked on Lego robots to come up with the training manual for middle school students. So these are, again, real-time industry projects the student teams in my class worked on um, while developing skills for themselves, as well as completing a project for the company or the client. And all the clients were happy with what they did in this short amount of time. In some cases, I think some of the projects were extended even after the class, as the client wanted to continue and the students wanted to continue as well. Next kind of real-time projects I wanted to focus on was, this was not part of a class. However, students worked on these projects as a zero credit course. So students were interested to work on this project, even if it was not part of a class. So they worked on this project as a zero credit course. You can see two examples here of these projects, which was for the cargo company that I talked about earlier, IMX Cargo, right? So the first project was basically extension of the previous project done in the engineering project management course. So a new team actually worked on the research on 3D visualization for that cargo loading optimization problem that the previous team worked on in the engineering management course. So this was more of a research project that they did for the company. The second project done for the same company was a database design and user interface recommendations for the company. So the student team worked on creating a database design or designed a database for the company, as well as came up with recommendations for the user interface. So these are a few other ways our students worked on real-time industry projects, even if it was not part of a class, but they were interested and the client was interested. That's how they did it and completed the project for the company and developed their skills as well while doing so. So these are projects I talked about were worked on by graduate students, master's level students. Most of them were, actually all of them were students working on their masters in engineering management. So had different engineering backgrounds, but all of them were working on their masters in engineering management. Now, another kind of project-based learning I wanted to talk about today is capstone projects. Capstone project or senior design project, which our undergrad students do. It's like a final year project students do at the final year of their undergraduate. So these are some of the projects that our IE or industrial engineering students did, which were sponsored. So basically, I only listed real-time projects that were completed by our industrial engineering capstone teams who worked on different projects. I do only actually advise graduate students and master's students, so I do not actually work with capstone projects, but even though I still wanted to show you guys some projects our IE students, our undergraduate and industrial engineering students did as their capstone projects. As you can see, if you look at the list of the sponsors, right, I'm not going to go into the details of the project, but I'm going to just briefly talk about the sponsors here. If you look at the list of sponsors, what you see here is most of them were medical centers, medical institutes. These projects, the teams worked on were for medical centers and medical institutes. But in addition to that, there were other sponsors, other kinds of projects done for other companies clients as well. So as you can see, Good Sports, it's basically a company that provides sporting activities or sporting equipments to children in need and so on. Similarly, Homeless Shelter Pine Street Inn was another sponsor, another company or client that the students worked for, created what they needed in these capstone projects. Another one was a textile company named Hispano-Tex, where the company actually does use recycled textiles. So these are few projects, as you can see, our undergrad in industrial engineering students who were working on their BS in industrial engineering worked on for a particular sponsor or client here. Now, so this is one example, as I said, of project-based, one example of experiential learning, which was project-based learning. Specifically, I wanted to focus on the real-time projects students work on as part of their academic programs, either it be undergraduate or graduate programs. The next part I want to talk about today is cooperative education. Cooperative education is the best example of experiential learning that Northeastern uses. So as I'm talking about cooperative education, let me give you a brief idea about how Northeastern does it. So experiential learning, as I said, is a very important aspect of Northeastern education. So experiential learning is the heart of a Northeastern education, which is anchored by our signature co-op program that is offered to both our undergraduate as well as graduate students. And these undergraduate and graduate students are placed nationally and globally from our network of employer partners. So by co-op, if you think about co-op in general, so that you can understand what I'm talking about, cooperative education is somewhat a little bit, I can say, similar to an internship program. However, internships are very short and the experiential learning cycle that I was talking about might not be possible in case of an internship. But in case of a cooperative education or co-op, it is possible. So co-op is an innovative approach to education, if you think about it, which integrates professional industry experience into the academic curriculum. So students, as they are working on their academic program, academic courses, at some point in time they go on a co-op. They go on to work on a co-op for a company, and they come back to complete their degree or academic program. So for example, our master's students, our graduate students, they have to complete, specifically our master's students, they have to complete at least half of their courses before they can go on a co-op. So you cannot start your co-op unless you have completed at least half of your academic programs. That means you have learned something, right? You have learned something that you can utilize in your co-op. So that's the concept. Similarly, in case of our undergraduate students, they can do about 2 to 3 co-ops during their entire program at Northeastern. So if you look at the numbers here, here I have included some numbers. So the total co-op placements in the annual year 2019 was 2,992, out of which 1,000 of the placements were graduate students. So if we talk about Northeastern's list of employee partners, we have 2,101 employee partners in 46 states in the US, as well as countries outside US. There are around 60 countries which our co-op faculty have worked with or our students have been to on a co-op. This was between 2017 to 2019. So let me give you a little more idea about co-op. Let me tell you what the students do, what opportunities the students get in case of a co-op. So co-op provides students the opportunity to explore or refine potential career paths. So in case of undergraduate students, as I mentioned, they can do 2 to 3 co-ops. So they can explore different potential career paths they are interested in, and they can decide which is a better fit for them when they complete the undergraduate degree. Where do they want to go on for their full-time roles, full-time jobs? So it also gives students the opportunity to make valuable industry connections through these co-ops, right? They are able to make those connections, networks, professional networks as well. They are able to broaden their perspectives because they are able to work with different industries, different employers through co-op. And they can also acquire the skills and knowledge needed to succeed. And all of this while they are learning and growing outside the comfort zone of the classroom. So it's not only in the classroom, right? Somewhere in the middle of their program, they go on a co-op, and the co-op can be either a 4-month co-op, or 6-month co-op, or an 8-month co-op. So if we compare this to an internship, definitely this is longer. So students have this opportunity to work within their profession for 4, 6, or 8 months period, right? Depending on what kind of opportunity they are getting for co-op, and which would be part of their academic program. And this also gives them real world experience that they can put on their resume, which will help them for their future full-time job search, as well as their full-time experience later on. Now, if we talk about the employers, is it valuable to the employers? Is co-op valuable to the employers? So let's talk about that part. So co-op is also a very high value to employers because the employers are able to have access to talented and innovative students to meet their workforce needs and business objectives. So these students, because they can work for 4, 6, or 8 months period, employers are able to evaluate these students while they are on co-op, because some of these co-op, actually a lot of these co-op opportunities also turn into full-time positions, full-time offers later on when they graduate. So employers are able to evaluate our co-ops, our students, to see, okay, are they good enough for a full-time offer position? So that's one thing. Or they are also able to train these co-ops or students, participants, which they can come back as a full-time employee later on, and they do not have to lose time on training and so on. So let me talk about the goals of co-op for our students. Okay, so first goal is to apply knowledge and skills in new authentic context. That means they have learned skills in their academic courses, right, in the academic setting. Now they can apply that knowledge and skills they have learned in the academic setting in these authentic contexts in their co-op, right, which is how they can apply the theoretical knowledge in the classroom that they have learned in the classroom to this co-op experience. Second, in or during their co-op, they can also develop new knowledge and skills. That's the second goal. Third goal is to integrate and use this deepened knowledge and skills that they have learned in their co-op into their academic programs when they come back to complete their academic program. So they learn these theoretical concepts in the academic courses, go on co-op, they develop more skills, they come back, and when they come back, what students end up doing is, some of the students, they extend the projects they have worked on in their co-op as part of a class project. So they write papers, go to conferences with these papers, which gives them more opportunity. In some cases, they write term projects as an extension of the work that they have done in co-op. They use the data that they have worked on in the co-op for their class projects or term projects. So they are able to integrate that deeper knowledge they got in co-ops to their academic programs as well, which helps not only them, also other students in the class. The fourth goal is reflecting. So reflect on and articulate how they use their knowledge and skills, right? How they use their theoretical knowledge and skills in co-op, how they gained new knowledge and skills in the co-op, basically how theory and practice work together. So they are able to see that, reflect on that, because they are learning in their academic courses, in the academic setting. They are applying it in co-op, and they again come back. So theory and practice working together, they can easily see that. Now, to do all this, right? So the students needs to be prepared for the co-op. So we have um, a co-op course that students take. It's a 1 credit course that students take, which is taught by our co-op faculty at Northeastern, that helps these students or prepares these students for co-op. So in this course, the co-op faculty work with our students to improve their resumes, improve their LinkedIn profiles, they work on their cover letters, they also work on the job search strategies as well as the interviewing process. So they practice interviewing in this co-op course, which helps them to get a co-op, because to getting a co-op, it's not an easy task. It's like a full-time job kind of process. There are rounds of interviews students have to go through in order to get a co-op. So the students have to be prepared, which is actually done through this course by our co-op faculty. So for all this, as I was talking about, for all this experiential learning, we do need this industry partnership, right? It's really important. So that's why Northeastern is continuously building industry partnership um, throughout, because experiential learning is a major part, very important part of our Northeastern education. So specifically our core faculty, they are the ones, they are the backbone of cooperative education, who are continuously trying to build industry relationship. So a few things that they do, one is definitely networking. So through networking, they network with industry professionals, industry partners, employers, through different events, professional events, conferences, workshops, as well as they use LinkedIn. So all of these are used to build this industry partnership with employers. And that's how Northeastern develops and builds on the current employee partners they have, and they keep on increasing every time. The other method or other thing our core faculty also do is they work on alumni relations. Our alumni are in different parts of the world in different companies, right? So they work with the alumni because the alumni know how Northeastern works or gives value and importance to experiential learning and co-op. So they do refer, the alumni as well refer openings or positions in their company to the university or to the co-op faculties, which even enhances the industry partnership with different companies around the world. So as a result of that, as I had mentioned earlier, right, Northeastern has placed our students in a lot of different companies. Here I have listed a few, right? These are only few companies where Northeastern has made their co-op placements or have made students placed in different companies, but these are only few examples I have listed here, which definitely helps them throughout, as I mentioned earlier, right? Even after co-op, they come back and they are trying to improve their skills and knowledge, applying what they have learned in co-op in their academic setting, in their courses, right? Which is the whole part of experiential learning, right? So they have an experience in their co-op and they reflect on, okay, what they learned in their co-op. And finally, they think of, okay, they reflect on what they did in their co-op, their experience, and they finally think about what they learned from the co-op, and they try to integrate that in their academic courses, as well as they plan to integrate that in their future work. So it helps them in their future full-time job search, as well as their full-time job as well. So this is what I wanted to talk about today, basically experiential learning and especially focusing on the cooperative education that Northeastern provides. Thank you so much for listening. I do have my contact information here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions.
Okay. Thank you so much for Dr. Palikhe for interesting presentation. very valuable experience you have in Northeastern University to give co-op program to your students. And this is what we want to learn from you actually. So that's why we invite you today to give some experience, some information how to do that kind of program, and that what we can give to our students about the learning, the experiential learning for the students. From what Dr. Palikhe discussed this morning, I can conclude that the experiential learning is very important for our undergraduate students, also for graduate students. It is actually a cyclic process that capitalizes on the students' experience for acquisition of knowledge, starting from the concrete experience in the industry, and then when they having experience in the company and the industry, so they can reflect on what they are doing in the experience during doing the experience during doing activity in the industry. So from that they can conclude or they can thinking about what they have experienced, and then at the end they will try to implement, to get action into how to get knowledge and how to uh, implement that knowledge into practice. Okay, so one way to achieve that goal is to let students have activity or kind of experience in industry. So that experience, what later we call as co-op program, the students help the company to do some project. In this case, the students not only helping industry with their project, but at the same time, students also help themselves to learn from the experience they have in the industry during they are doing the project. So the experiential learning is the main program for Northeastern University, that a very important thing that they give to the student, to give a real experience, real life realities of working life after they are graduated from university. So I believe there are so many questions in mind for the participants. But before we go to the QA sessions, we need to take pictures first. Okay, Pak Ferry? So please turn on your camera first. We need to capture some pictures as evidence. Okay, thank you. Buyumi, can you help me?
Okay, yes, sure.
With the Northeastern University logo and picture. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, and then
I can can I put the first slide? Will that be better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the first one.
Okay, let's do that. This one?
Okay.
I don't. Bu Yumi, can you see it? Okay, that one.
Yes.
So Bu Yumi, take a picture of it. That's this is for the administrative thing, Himlona.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we can take the picture for all the participants. So I think Bu Yumi will take the picture.
Yes, so. Okay,
Okay.
for all the participants now. One, two, three. Next pages.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
now we go to session. It is a Q&A session, question and answer. So all participants, if you have question, if you have something to know, you can post your question in chat room, yeah? Or you can also ask directly by turn on your microphone and camera if possible. Speaker. Silakan. You can ask in English and Indonesian. Bisa dua-duanya. Ya kan Pak Ferry ya?
Yes, and I would like to start from me. I have, I think, 2 questions for Himlona.
Okay. Please Pak
Okay.
Ferry.
Okay, number 1, that is for the co-op program. So you mentioned that the co-op program, it lasts for 4 to 8 months in the company, right? For
Yes.
one student. So that is part of the curriculum. What I mean is that so the co-op will appear in the transcript of the graduates, and they will get an A, B, C, or whatever in the transcript. That
So
number 1. Mhm.
So they will have to when they're in co-op, they will have to register for a 0 credit course. I think it probably might not be ABC, but they do get pass fail grade, satisfactory, unsatisfactory kind of grade. So it's a 0 credit course. So they have to be, yes, registered for a 0 credit co-op 0 credit co-op experience course, which is definitely not counted towards the credits for the master's or undergraduate program, but it is part of the academic program.
So it is part of the program, but it will not have any effect to the GPA, right?
No
Because there
effect
is
to
no
the
A, B,
GPA.
C.
Yes.
Okay. What about the 1 credit co-op course that that you have a faculty for that gonna teach the student how to prepare the CV, application letter, and so on and so forth. So that will appear also in the transcript, and for that course, for that 1 credit course, there will be a grade for the students.
Yes. So the 1 credit course, co-op course, which they take it before they have to take it or pass it before they go on a co-op, that has a grade, that has A, B, C, D. So students have to work on assignments, like they have to
Okay.
come up with creating their positioning statement, their career goals, right? So they have to understand, the students have to understand their career goals. That's the only way they can apply for a co-op position that matches their goal. So that's what they will start with, and then they move on to, yes,
So
resume and all that. So there are assignments they have to do for that class.
So they do the 1 credit co-op course first, and then they go for the co-op
Yes,
in the
they
company.
have to.
Okay.
Yes, they have to complete and pass the course. Then only they can go on a co-op. So, for example, in case of master's students, they have to have at least completed half the courses. So, in our case, for master's students, they have to complete at least 4 courses before they can go on a co-op. Because for master's students, we have total only 8 courses because each course is 4 credits. So they have to complete 4 courses. Then only they can go on a co-op, because they have to learn something, right, in the academic setting before they can go on a co-op. So we have domestic as well as international students. That's for master's students. For undergrads, they can go on 2 to 3, I think some do 2, some do 3 co-ops, which means they get a chance to work for different employer, different positions. So they will be able to understand what works for them. Like, do they want to go in that particular field, industry, or that kind of role, or other. So they have that option because of the 4-year time frame they have. Mm, for them as well, they have to complete certain number of courses and pass the co-op course. Then only they can go on a co-op.
So if they do 2 or 3 times internship or co-ops, that's gonna delay their graduation.
Yes,
So
it does.
so so does it have any effect? I mean, because so I mean, here in Indonesia, so if you graduate on time, that's really important, right? So
So
basically, so it is a
yes.
4 years program. If it is an undergraduate program, so this, I mean, the performance of the school will be better if all your students graduate on time. But with 2 or 3 co-ops, so that of course gonna delay their graduation for maybe a year or 1.5 years. So
So yeah.
in the US, so is that okay or what? I just want to know that.
Yes. So normally,
Mm.
yes, normally I know even in our country, undergrad is a 4-year program. But in the US, even without co-op, right? Even if you look at other universities, summer students do not have to take a course. It's not necessary, right? You do not have to. And if they only take courses in the fall and spring, they can take courses for 5 years, more than 4 years for sure. So with the co-op of undergrad students, I think they do not do an 8-month co-op. It's a little shorter, like 4 to 6 months. Um, so in some cases, students do take a course while they are in co-op as well. So normally for graduate students, they have to take 2 courses a semester to be in full-time status. But when they are in co-op, they can take 1 course if they want to. It's not a requirement, but if they want to, they can do that. So undergrad students, what I have seen is I have seen that students take one online course while they are in co-op, which helps with not elongating their program. But I agree what you were saying. It might, yes, affect the length of the time, might affect a little bit. But in the US, it's normal that students take normally 5 years to complete, even in other universities because of the summer. Some students either take courses in the fall or spring, or which in that case they do not take classes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Himlona. Bulusi.
Thank you.
That is it from me.
Continuing the question from Pak Ferry, I'm a little bit want to know. So the co-op program actually is not a compulsory for all students. It's a kind of option program.
Yes. Yes, it's not compulsory for all the students. I would say I think most of our undergraduate students, bachelor's level students, even if they do not do 3, they might do at least 1 or 2 co-ops because it helps them to build their network and find a full-time job. Our graduate students as well, they really want to do it, especially for example, if there are international students, they really want to do a co-op to get that US experience so that it helps them for their full-time job. But it's not compulsory. Everyone does not need to do it. So it's optional.
Okay, thank you. Because in Indonesia, from this year, we also try to launch that kind of co-op program. But we have to, how can we say, we have to also link between what they get from the industry, from the co-op program, to the learning outcome from our curriculum. It's a little bit complicated actually. So that's why it's a bit different between what we have here in Indonesia and what you have done in Northeastern University. So yeah, we need to discuss more about things.
Yes, I mean, definitely. So what I can say or add in this case is, so students can only go on co-op that is related to their field or area of study. So they cannot go on co-op in any area, but it has to be, for example, if a student is working on their BS in industrial engineering, it has to be somehow related to industrial engineering. If not, does not make sense to do a co-op which is not related to industrial engineering. So that is important thing or priority. Without, I mean, it has to be related to your degree or academic program that you're working on.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Palikhe. And the second question from Evan Zaira is he's asking about the regulation to run the co-op program between university and the company. How you build the relationship between or the partnership between university and the company or industry. There are some regulation that you have to follow from the government, for example, or you just go through the connection between two parties only.
So for partnership, it's basically connection, but um, as we have so many international students, we do have to follow federal regulations because of the visa issues and things like that. So international students, when they are working, when they are here in their student visa, they can use something called curriculum practical training, called known as CPT. And for that, if you are in your if you're working on your master's, you can work up to at most a year. So our master students, that's why the limitation, minimum 4 months and maximum 8 months, they cannot work more than that in their co-op, which would be part of their CPT. So federal regulation has to be followed, and especially with that, they have set up like the co-op should start somewhere around the beginning of a semester, and if it's a 4 month co-op, it has to start somewhere around the beginning of the semester and end somewhere at the end of the semester. So that regulations has to be followed. Another thing is, if it's a 6 months co-op, either the student needs to start in summer 2 and then end in the following fall semester. That would be about 6 months. If it's an 8 month co-op, the student has to start in the beginning of summer 1 and end in December. So there are rules that has to be followed. For example, fall and spring consecutively, the student cannot be on co-op. The whole year students cannot be on co-op, especially again, um, relating to federal government visa regulations. Yes, that has to be followed strictly.
Okay,
Bu
thank you.
Lucy,
Uh,
okay.
Sebentar Pak Ahmad,
Ya.
Saudara Evan, is it okay with the answer? Saudara Evan, is it okay? Okay. Okay, cukup. Okay, thank you, Evan. And next one, Dr. Ahmad Safruddin, please.
Thank you, Bu Lucy. Sorry for being late to this event. I want to ask one question. Is there any funding assistance for laboratory department for laboratory development from the company? Ms. Hilma?
So, okay. So it's related to if the companies provide funding to labs and things like that, right? So it would not be part of co-op. It's more of a research kind of funding. For example, um, if a research lab is working on a research project for a company, then yes, it might be some kind of a grant the research lab might get, but it would not be part of co-op, because in case of co-op, the students will have to go to the
Different scam,
companies to work.
different scam from okay, different scam, yeah. Not that not included in co-op program, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
that's true.
okay,
Not
okay.
in co-op program. However, I think I did not mention, but I wanted to say this. The students, when they go on a co-op, they are paid, by the way. The students are paid when they go on a co-op. So they are, like, earning some money while they are developing their skills. So it's not unpaid, it's paid co-op. Yes, and the question that you asked about research labs. So there are companies, if companies want labs to work on a research project for them, they might provide some kind of funding, or specifically it will be normally some kind of grant that the companies or research division of the company might provide.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Makasih, Bulus.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ahmad. Okay, please some more question from audience.
Lucy.
Yes, please.
So for the co-op faculty, so can you explore more on the jobs of the co-op faculty, Himlona?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the co-op faculty, they not only teach the students related to co-op how to prepare for co-op, but also they develop and build relationships with the employers. So it's not only building new relationship with the employers, but they have to maintain that relation, right? And the co-op faculty also have to work with employers to see, okay, what kind of co-op position, what kind of student you are looking for, what role and all that. So the employers will have to work with the co-op faculty to come up with a co-op opening position. So this is the job responsibilities, this is the requirement, this is the term. So the co-op faculty also works directly with the employers to come up with the job description and all that whole process. And in some cases, if there is a specific need, the co-op faculty will work with the employer to find the right fit for that particular employer. So it does not, however, it does not mean that students can only apply with the employer partners that Northeastern has. That's not a requirement. If students can find a co-op outside of the list of employers that Northeastern has, it's okay. But still, co-op faculty still tries, they try to have or develop or gain more relationships with more employers around the US as well as global partners, because there are students who also go on international co-ops outside US as well. Some go back to their countries as well. Some go to different countries to do different types of co-ops with different companies.
So they are professor, or they are professor, the co-op faculty, or they are
So
staff?
they are faculty in a sense. They are not your regular professors, not your regular professor, but they are hired specifically to teach a co-op course, and they do not teach any other kind of course. It's basically they teach the co-op course and they work with employers to build and develop and maintain that relationship. So it's more of a different kind of role compared to your regular teaching, regular faculty. So not the regular faculty, because definitely, I mean, regular faculty, if they try to do everything, it will be a lot, right? So
Yeah.
we have a big bunch. Even just in College of Engineering, we have about more than 35 plus co-op faculty only. So in addition to co-op faculty, we have our own research as well as teaching faculty, which is total about, I think, 80 plus or something like that.
Okay, so the co-op faculty, they don't teach and they don't do research. The only thing that they do is to manage the co-op program
And teach just the co-op course. Yes.
and teach the one credit co-op course.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the co-op faculty, you have it at the university level or at the school level or the program level?
So each actually university has co-op faculty, but again, each unit or each department, for example, College of Engineering has their own co-op unit in the university, where the College of Engineering, again, because we have several departments, each department have their own set of co-op faculty. Because the co-op
Okay.
faculty has to understand like what kind of roles students in mechanical and industrial engineering department can go into. That's how they can build that relationship, right? So that's why each department have their own group of core faculty that they work with a particular department or students from particular department.
Okay, thank you, Bu Lucy.
Thank you, Dr. Hadi. Yeah, it is interesting to know that the program faculties do not in charge directly to the co-op program, but it's totally different with here what we have in university, right? But here, all the students have to assign to specific persons. The person is the faculty members to be in charge to what students doing in industry. Yeah, it's a more job for us actually. More job for us. So, but how and who will evaluate the students' performance during doing co-op?
So during co-op, the co-op faculty and the employer have that relationship. So if the student is having issues, I mean, it's not doing well or it's doing really well, the employer actually connects with the co-op faculty. So it's not a direct evaluation because they do not get exactly a ABCD grade. But so if there is something going really good or really bad, definitely the core faculty will know because of that relationship with the employer.
Okay.
Because it's not only one student, there are a bunch of students who go to work on a particular company from a university. So it's a relationship between the university and the employer instead of one student. It's a group of students.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
You
Dr.
might be working at different points in time, though.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. We still have another question from Rahmi Netri. It is very interesting speech. What should we prepare as graduate student to take the projects, joining professor research or internship? Could you please share your own experience? And last question is there any opportunities for us in Northeastern University to explore industrial experience? Okay,
So
for
yes, so definitely, I mean, if you want to come to Northeastern as a graduate student, you definitely will have the same opportunity of working as a co-op if you're interested with the co-op course, any kind of any master's program or a PhD program that we have. Students are able to go on a co-op during their graduate program. So the other question, I think if I understand the question right, the first question, the student was asking about is it was the question, is it internship a better option or working on a research lab a better option? Was that the question? Okay.
okay.
So it depends on what you are interested in to do in the future. If you want to go into industry, go back to industry and work in the industry, then yes, internships or co-ops might be a better option for you in particular because you want to go back to industry to work on that. However, if you're interested in research or maybe a research kind of a role in the industry or maybe academic role later on, then in that case, definitely working in a research lab works better because there are a lot of research positions available as well in companies where they have their own research units in companies. So it depends on what you are looking for, a purely industrial kind of experience or a research kind of experience, depending on what your interest and goal is to do in the to do later. Depending on that, you can choose.
I see. Okay. Is it okay, Rahmi Netri? Is it enough? The answer? Okay. Any other questions? Please, we still have, yeah, Dr. Palikhe doesn't have a long time for us, so we cannot stay for 3 hours as we planned. But 1.5 is okay. Okay, Dr. Palikhe, 1.5 hours, so we still have 10 minutes left for question and answer.
Yeah, Himlona, have you got your dinner? Have you got your dinner? Because now I'm sure that it is almost 10:30 in p.m. in Boston. Have you got your dinner?
Yes, I did.
Okay. One more thing from me, Bu Lucy. So it is
Okay.
me and me again. Okay.
Okay. You are
Regarding the capstone project, you mentioned a little bit regarding the capstone project, and I'm sure that the name of the course is Senior Design Project.
Yes.
Is it correct?
Yes.
So the projects coming from the industry, or it is just based on the idea of the students, and what is the role of the faculty in that senior design project?
So it depends. So the examples that I was listing in the slides were more of sponsored projects, which the students did for the companies or clients, where most of them were medical centers or institutes. But there are projects where students work on their own idea and on own idea as well. So they might work on some teams work on real-time projects, real-time industry projects, come work on a problem, come up with a solution for the company or client, whatever problem they have. In some cases, they might come up with their own idea. So it depends on different types of projects. So it might be either their own innovative idea they work on, or industry real-time projects. So the examples I was showing earlier was more of sponsored projects from companies or clients that they worked on, but it can be anything. And the faculty caption, because I do not directly deal with caption, however, according to what I understand and know at Northeastern, so each team is assigned a faculty advisor. So the students work on this caption project and they work with their faculty advisors throughout the whole year, because the caption project here is about, I think, 2 semesters. So they meet with their teams, and if they have questions, issues, they work with their advisor for help to deal with the issues. So they are the ones who are going to work on it, not the faculty advisor, but they will discuss with the faculty advisor if there are issues with their projects, if they are stuck, and so on.
Okay. So and they do that in groups.
Yes, it's
The
a
senior
caption
team.
project. They do it in groups, teams.
Okay, so it is 1 year long project, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Okay,
1 year
okay.
long. So there are two semesters they work on the senior design or caption projects.
And they're gonna get A, B, C, D in their
Yes,
transcript for that. Okay,
yes, they
okay.
get a grade for the caption projects.
So if the student come up with their own idea for their capstone project, so it is easy for them to get sponsored for funding their project.
So if they come up with their own idea, it might not always be easy to get funding, because if, for example, if they were working on a problem for a company or client, definitely the company or client might um, fund
Right.
for the project, because they might need material stuff and things like that. In some cases, I think the department also probably might help or provide some funding, but not maybe for not all the projects, because again, if it's a sponsored project or for a company or client, definitely the company or client might provide some funding for the equipments needed, which if it's not already on campus. So
I
for those
see.
kind of things.
But department gives some, not totally all the expense of the project, but maybe there is some support from the department for the funding of the project, right?
Yeah, they might provide. So for example, actually one of the sponsored projects I was talking about earlier was from Healthcare Systems Institute, which actually is a institute on campus at Northeastern, which is run by one of our professors in the MIE department, Mechanical and Industrial Engineering department. So I think a team worked on a project for that research institute on campus. So they probably had some funding and they provided that funding for the project.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Palik, I think more than 10 minutes, as I said before, because there are 3 more questions that you have to answer. Is it
Okay,
okay for you?
sure,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, thank you. The first question, is there any criteria to assess the suitability of the topic in the capstone project?
You mean, so if the students come up with an idea, how do
Yeah.
we decide if it's good or bad? So
Yes.
definitely the student will have to work with the faculty advisor and get approval from the capstone team. I think in Northeastern there is a group of faculty who work on the caption project. So each team will be assigned a faculty advisor, but there is a faculty who manages all the caption projects. So I think they need to get approval from the main faculty who advises all the caption projects. So they
Is
need
it,
to
is
get that
it,
approval.
is it possible, for example, for the project, not only students from IE involved in that project, but there are some students from other faculty, other backgrounds
Mhm.
also include and involved?
I think I haven't seen that, because Normally, ME, for example, how our department is mechanical and industrial engineering. However, mechanical engineering students, they do their own caption project, and industrial engineering do their own caption project. Somehow they do not mix and work on the same project. They do it separately here. But I think that would be a great idea to mix. You can learn from each other. That's how we do research nowadays, right? All different departments come together, areas come together to work on research.
Yeah, because sometimes one problem can be solved with so many approach and perspective, right?
That's true.
Okay, thank you. And the
Thank
next
you.
question, Andhras University will launch a similar program, I mean, a kind of co-op program next year. And can you give some words to motivate or to encourage our students who will take the program? So some students,
Definitely.
some students are still afraid to get this program because it is something new for them.
No, I would really encourage all the students, if your university is developing something like a co-op program, this will definitely benefit you a lot. I have seen this in our students. Our students, specifically, even if they are not from the US, even if they are international students, they do this co-op program, they get that US experience, so they get to know how work is done in the US, and they are able to utilize that experience to market themselves better. They can put that in their resumes. They can market themselves better when they go on a full-time job search after they graduate, which really helps and benefits them a lot. So even if you think about in your situation, even if you're in Indonesia, you are able to gain that experience before you can go to the market. Before you even graduate, you can go get that experience and learn, okay, how the real world experience is like, and you can take that skills that you have learned and later market yourselves better, so which gives you, more value compared to students who do not have that experience. If you compare yourself in a competition, you will be better because you had that experience compared to students who did not have that experience, co-op or internship kind of experience, that really would differentiate you compared to other students who do not have that experience. So I would really recommend and encourage students to do it.
Okay, students, are you ready for this program next year? I hope so. Okay, thank you, Dr. Palikhe. Last question. What do you think? Is it okay for example, you get bachelor degree in electrical engineering as you, for example, and then you go master in different area from your bachelor background?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I did the same thing. I did my undergraduate in electronics and communication engineering, and I switched when I did my master's into industrial engineering, and which led me to my PhD in systems and engineering management. I think if you realize what you're really interested in after you complete your bachelor's, you can change your major. That's okay.
So you now deep involved in IE rather than electrical or something like that,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
No problem at all, students. Okay. All right. Still have questions? I will give one more opportunity to ask for the participants, but this is the last one because it's too late for Dr. Palikhe to go back. This co-op program can extend student period of study. I think okay, Dr. Palikhe, you can answer directly to the questions.
What's the question?
Is the co-op program have effect to the period of study of the students?
Yes, it does. For example, if I talk about the master's or graduate students, master's students, it does affect because if they are doing a 4-month co-op, it might not be much. For example, if they do a co-op in the summer, 4 months, that's it. does not affect much, right? Because summer normally students do not take classes. Here, all the students do not take classes in the summer, so it does not affect much. But if it's a 8-month co-op, definitely they are losing a semester. So it will extend. Yes, it will extend the program by a semester. But I mentioned earlier, students can take a course while in co-op as well. So some students do that so that they can shorten the timeline of their graduation. So that's also possible.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's possible. Yeah, but yeah, it's a kind of option if you want to get more experience to face the real, the real life, the real atmosphere of work life, and then co-op program is an option for you.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can stay in university, right? All right, thank you, Dr. Palikhe. Thank you so much. Today we get so many information, so many experience and valuable things from your speech, and it's really, really something that we really appreciate for. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
today.
Thank you
And
so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
yeah, stay in touch because there are so many things that we need to discuss with you after this class, after
Sure.
this lecture. Okay. Okay, Pak Ferry, I will give the time for you back.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Lucy. And thank you so much also to the participants, faculty, and students for their quality questions and comments to the speakers. And Himlona, I think this is just the start. This is just the beginning for us, for the Andalas University. We may extend this collaboration for something that is that will have more good effect, especially to the students. So, as I mentioned to you before we start the lecture, now we have a program of faculty exchange, student exchange. So we may talk about that. We can have another Zoom meeting, especially to discuss that. So if you have, I mean, we may invite you to Indonesia to stay here for one semester and teach our students and share your experience. So yeah, that's will be the next thing for us after getting the ABET accreditation. So as I mentioned to you, that one of the program of the department is the internationalization of the program. So I also mentioned the same thing to Bing Bing. So this is just the start. So we may extend this collaboration. And for this event, I would like to say thank you very much. This is a very, very good presentation. You give us another perspective on the, we call it the internship program here. And I hope that all the students, all the faculty can get the benefit from the lecture. So again, thank you very much. And after this, I will send you an email. That is
Sure.
that is one. I will send you an email, and that is something that I will ask you. So yeah, please
Sure.
check your email tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'll do.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone.
So convey my regard to Manish and your
Sure,
son.
I'll do. I'll do. Yeah.
Because her husband is my friend also.
I see.
Yeah. So we did our PhD at the same school in Texas Tech. Yeah. So okay. Thank you so much, Himlona. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you
you
so
have a
much
good
for
night.
the opportunity. Yeah. Good morning to you all. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you so
Good
much.
night for you. Good night for you, Dr.
Good.
Palikhe.
Thank you. Sure.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Oke, Bu Lucy, saya end ya meetingnya.
Yap. Boleh partisipan sudah boleh keluar ya.
Ya, jangan lupa isi itu daftar hadir. Nanti sertifikat akan dikirim langsung.
Oke. Termasuk saya, Pak Ferry.
Bu Lucy ada jadi untuk pembicara sama itu enggak perlu isi. Kalau diisi itu dapat 2 sertifikat jadinya. Karena sertifikat untuk moderator sama pembicara sudah disediakan.
Oke, thank you.
Nanti dikirim via email. Ya. Oke, terima kasih semua mahasiswa atas partisipasinya. Kita lebih dari 100 orang sesuai dengan apa yang saya harapkan. Terima kasih HMTI, terima kasih ketua kelas yang saya minta waktu itu untuk
Dosen semua.
hadir. Ya, Bapak Ibu dosen juga.
Nanti bisa nonton balik